Hey, everybody. I hope you're having a good day. And I just wanted to do an update and just give you some information on my third book, which is just came out a little while ago. And that book is The Men of the Khaki Cloth, the U.S. Army Chaplain in Soldier Year, World War II. And this has really been out for about a month and a half. I think I published it on June 6th, 2021, and I just recently did a revision of this. This original first copy was a black and white book. I revised it and edited it some more, so I'm putting it out again, actually in a color format. So it's roughly about a 100-page book. Tells the story of the U.S. Army chaplain. So I just figured I'd give you a little bit of information about the book if you're interested in possibly getting a copy or would just like to know more. So this particular book actually started off as a series of articles that I wrote um, about the U.S. Army chaplain. And that all was initiated by the gift of a U.S. Army chaplain field altar set from a local chaplain here in Columbia, Missouri. Uh, he had passed away, and his daughter had some World War II stuff. So she gave me his field altar and his uniforms and things like that. And a couple days later, I just jokingly posted, "Hey, did anyone know where I can get a field organ?" And someone popped up that there was one like an hour away from me. And it wasn't that expensively priced. So within the course of about 5 days, I had the two most difficult items to select for a Army chaplain. So at that point, I just started working on putting together the other pieces and parts. And, it's been a really interesting journey. So I started writing these articles for a World War II reenacting publication. And so each of them were, maybe 5, 10 pages each. And only the first couple of them ended up getting run. I have no idea why they didn't get run, but, I was already several more articles ahead when that happened. And then I just went ahead and I enjoyed writing on it. So I just went ahead and wrote a few more, and so I ended up with this whole series of 7 different articles. And so then I just, they ended up getting put away for a while. I think they sat for probably about 5 years. And then back in May of this year, it's now July, I said, I should probably share those. So I shared those on the World War II chaplain assembly, and people really liked them. And so then I decided to go ahead and sew it together as a book. So then I spent a very long weekend doing the first edition of this, kind of putting those articles together, turning it into a book format. And again, I just did another revision of it. So I think it's actually fairly presentable now. It's a pretty book, if the kind of thing you're looking for. So um, so the gist of the book and the different chapters of it, and again, I write it from, I'm a retired Army officer, and I write it from that point of view, so that you understand how a chaplain operates in the field. If you're looking for books about all sorts of stories about the faith and heroism of different chaplains, this is probably not the book for you. I do tell the story of the 4 chaplains. If you're not familiar with that story, it's a great story about 4 chaplains who sacrificed themselves as a ship got sank in the North Atlantic. And I tell the story of Chaplain Francis Simpson, who was actually in the 101st Airborne and ended up becoming chief of chaplains by 1970. I tell those stories, but it's really more about the how, what, when, where, those kinds of details of really how a World War II field chaplain operated and how you become a field chaplain, gear that they had, how they set up. There's a lot of other very interesting stories in there about the rabbi chaplains, Jewish chaplains in Europe during World War II in Europe, because they were some of the only rabbis that were still remaining in Europe. So they ended up doing different services at concentration camps and things like that. Um, and so their stories are actually very, very inspiring. So the different chapters of the book, there's an introduction which covers how to become a chaplain. Then I talk about the chaplain on the table of organization and equipment, what they were given, and how many, and things like that, or how many were authorized to a regiment, things like that. And I talk about uniforms and different unique items that chaplains may have for their own gear, chaplain unit equipment, which things like the organ and other stuff that they were authorized, and then the field altar set. And the field altar, I mostly cover just the Christian chaplain field altar set, and there's a Protestant and a Catholic variation, and I touch upon those. I also talk about the manufacturer of those. If you would like to know a lot more about chaplain altar sets, I would really recommend Bob Heskett's book right here. This actually came out last year at some point, maybe in the fall of last year. But this is Christian chaplain sets of the 20th century, and he not only covers just the World War II ones, but he goes, I think, from World War I up through Korea, Vietnam, and also Desert Storm, things like that. So this is a really good book if you're into chaplain. And actually, I think my book was written before his book was written, but his was published before mine. And I think they complement each other if you really want a good detailed look at it all. Also, then I go into the individual soldier items like Bibles, prayer books, Jewish prayer books, Book of Mormon. I cover that in there also. And then, different Bibles that there was the official Bible that the Army put out. And then there were other Bibles put out by the YMCA, the Gideons. And then also I talk about the Heart Shield Bible, which is something that was sold to families, and it had a metal cover on it, and you could put it in your chest. And the idea is that this could save you from getting shot. It did in a few cases, but 20 gauge steel. Some other things, I also spoke in there. There's a section in there about LDS Mormon chaplains, which was a new creation during World War II, and then also African American chaplains. The very spiritual role that they played within African American units in the Jim Crow Army of World War II. So let me just do a quick screen share, and I'll just show you a few things. So just bear with me here for a second. So here's the cover of the book. And again, it's green. It has the picture of this chaplain on it. So pretty basic bare bones cover there. And then let's actually go on the inside of the book. And this is actually the PDF. In case you don't know that, most books are written in like a Word format, and then they're converted to a PDF, and then that's how they end up getting printed. So this is the interior of the book. Again, it's about a 100-page book. So here's the table of contents. Here's kind of the story of how I got into it. There's the chaplain field set that I received and the organ as I first got it, and Chaplain Rice, who's the gentleman whose it was. I tell his story a little bit. And then I go into really the inspirational story of the 4 chaplains there, which is just amazing. And the Medal of Honor level award that the 4 chaplains received. Then I go into the different equipment that the chaplain was authorized, the chaplain jeeps, the patent prayers covered in there, and then different uniform and insignia of the Army chaplain, and then the field equipment that they have, the field desk, the flags. Also, there's the chaplain hymnal chest, and I discussed that as well as the books that are in there. And then there's the different chaplain flag. There's a smaller version, and then there's a larger version of that, and the armband. Also, I've got some pictures of Ronald Reagan playing his field organ in a movie that he did as a chaplain. Then I cover the field altar sets, and also discuss how you can tell a World War II or military field set from just a communion set that maybe a minister or a priest might have in the field to care for people. And there's the Jewish field set, which was called an ark, and show some of the different markings and things on it, the different pieces of gear. And just some other odds and ends. Here's the section on the LDS chaplain. Then there's the African American chaplains, the story of Chaplain Simpson. And then I go into the different Bibles, the Gideon, the U.S. Army, and the Heart Shield Bible. And then the last chapter ties up some other things like rosaries and different patron saints. So it's a pretty straightforward book. I don't have a bibliography in it because it was really written as a series of articles. It's not footnoted, anything like that. So it's a fairly quick and easy read. Okay. And then we'll look at a couple other things here real quick. Not that one. It would be this one. So this is actually the Christian Chaplain set book by Bob Heskett, if you're interested in that. And you can find that a number of different places for sale. So his cost on that $75. And then here, this is actually where you can get my book. And this is my third book. I actually have a fourth book that's coming out soon. I'll talk about that before I leave. But this is where you actually order my books from lulu.com. Now they are available on Amazon.com and other websites like that. But just be aware that if you go through them, they're going to take probably 80 to 90% of any revenue that I might get off. And I'm not getting rich off of these, but it's nice to get a little bit of return for all the time and money that I put into this. So my first book, Crash the Gate Doing 98, which is the story of CB Radio's America's first social media platform. And then my second book, this one is the complicated life of Dr. Samuel B. Allen during the Civil War, border state quandaries. Crash the Gate is like 20 bucks. This is 12 bucks. So I try to keep my books fairly inexpensive. And here's the actual chaplain book and where you order it. The color copy actually comes in at $17 for a 100-page color copy book. So that's a pretty good buy. And if you'd like a hardcover, it looks like it's about $12 more. So you order off of this website, and then it's print on demand. So typically I've gotten my books from them in about a week, and it'll show up at your door. So, hey, thanks for chiming in there, Steve. So that's the story of this book. So I hope you enjoy it. It's meant to be a fairly quick read, short book, tells a story, and gets it out there. And that's really the purpose of writing it. And so anyway, I hope you enjoy it. And let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.